Alrighty, everyone. I'm Madison Crews, and in this soccer down here 1v1, I am sitting down with head coach of South Georgia Tormenta, Ian Cameron. How you doing, Ian?
I'm doing good. A little bit fatigued like the rest of the boys, but good.
I mean, after the event you guys had on Wednesday, I would be fatigued as well. Have you managed to kind of recuperate a little bit?
Yeah, the boys have shown a good attitude. We travelled back yesterday, got back to work this morning. Different boys in different places, but everything turns to Greenville on Sunday. A big match up in the league as always, but no, it's always easier to recover and do all those things when you've won a game. It's a far easier process. So a good vantage point to come from.
Absolutely. And I do want to talk about that victory because it was a very, very long, very chaotic match that was played in the Open Cup on Wednesday. So I want to take it step by step. So I want to look at the first couple minutes. In the 12th minute, you guys were able to get one on the board. And then Miami was able to come back and make it 1-1. Red card was shown to Miami, and then they were able to make it 2-1 going into the halftime. What was your message to the guys in that you guys are down a goal, but they're also down a player? What was your mentality? What did you deliver to them to get them back on the field?
Well, we lost our way a wee bit, probably about from the 15th minute to halftime. We lost our way a wee bit. Sometimes you have to. We were ready to make changes at halftime in terms of structure, incentive, and all those kind of things. And then the red card changes the dynamic and so forth. The reaction to the red card is not really what you draw up, to lose a goal. But that's partly massive credit to Miami in terms of their attitude to losing the man and then get back on the front foot a little bit. But we had changes in mind. We had adjustments that we thought could swing the game back in our favour. But then it becomes a different dynamic with the red card. So what I'm really proud of the boys of, the information, we'll call it constructive criticism, probably felt a wee bit harsher to them, but I'll call it constructive criticism that they received at halftime, was met with a very good response from them, was met with reflection, was met with guys taking accountability. And then they went out in the second half and applied very, very good pressure with good patience. And a lot of the actions were made in the second half we were very, very happy with. It made the game, obviously, dynamic changed, but still to score 3 goals against a team who's hell-bent on defending at that point, who are a league above us, that's a good return for your money. So we're proud of the boys' effort. The dynamic of the red card clearly changed the game, but I still trust our group would have had a very good showing in the second half without the red card. I think the game would have stayed very competitive, but clearly that changed the dynamic completely.
Now, you obviously mentioned a red card to the opposing side. That completely changes like everything that you probably set forth for your guys, as well as Miami too. They're changing the way they're playing. How does that mindset shift, and how do you, as a coach from the sideline, really deliver that to your guys in a moment like that?
Well, you've got to have when something's given to you in a game, you've got to take advantage of it. So you're always looking for vulnerabilities in the opponent, whether that's your two structures against each other and there's something structurally you're doing that's causing them issues, whether there's a player who's showing vulnerabilities, and then a red card is an obvious one. That's a clear structure. So it's very well known what that advantage you have is, but the boys have still got to go out and execute and take advantage of it. So that's the part I'm really proud of, that they recognise their advantage. Clearly it's a self-evident one, but then they made actions and they showed patience and they structurally set themselves up in such a way repetitively that increased the probability that we would take advantage of what was presented to us in the game. It's not always going to be a red card. Again, it'll be a different dynamic sometimes, but there's no point in having that advantage if you don't capitalise on it. And the boys capitalised on it in a really good way. It took us a wee bit longer than we wanted, but by that same token, it was good. The other thing I'd say to our boys' credit, first half was very, very chaotic, as you said, very emotional. Miami are in a place where they needed the result. You're not playing against a championship side who sometimes take you lightly. They needed that result even more than we do. But we matched that energy and we showed resiliency, but we also showed an element of balance in terms of our discipline. So that balance of discipline, I think, is really important, and what felt like a cauldron from their bench, from their players, from the actions they're making on the field. We managed that hostile environment relatively well. Can be better. I got a yellow card, for instance, that I could have managed better. But the group as a whole should take credit from that, so that They bought us time to get to halftime, measured, nobody doing anything silly, so that we can make changes at halftime as you ask the boys to do. Sometimes things don't work perfectly, but just steady the ship until half, and then we can go and make adjustments if needed. And they did a nice job of that.
Absolutely. And opening the floodgates was Connor Doyle. Connor Doyle was able to put one in to make it 2-2 in the second half, and that opened the floodgates for you guys. You guys then just continued to score and made it 4-2. What was your initial reaction when that goal went into the back of the net? What was going through your head? What was the message? What was everything like on the bench for you guys?
It was growing into the part of the game where you're about to make changes or you're starting to forecast changes. So the goal, we didn't necessarily want to. We thought the team was in a good place. We liked the actions they were making. We were hoping it was just a matter of time. But what you perceive is you're also watching the clock tick down. So at some point, you know you have to roll the dice and make a change. And what that goal did for us was allow us to, what we were already liked on the field, to just stick with a wee bit and not have to make too many changes immediately and so forth. So it bought us time to say, okay, we're now back level. Now we can really push forward. But what I loved about the group after the goal was that they kept their foot on the pedal. And that was the important piece. Get equalised, but then don't allow the game to go back and forth from there. Use the advantage that's given to you in the game. Keep pressing, keep strangling them, keep pushing, keep putting them under pressure, and then hopefully they get the fruits of your labour thereafter, and then make a couple of changes, fresh legs, to try to go get some extra goals. So the goal came at about the right time so that we didn't have to make changes. You're grateful for that because it buys coaching staff time. Doesn't always work that way. So it was an important time, leaving us enough time to be patient as a group and keep going about the game plan that was set at halftime. So that was good.
I mean, of course. And I also got to talk about you guys on the road as well. Open Cup, you guys played Miami on the road. And then now coming in, you're going to be playing against Charleston Battery on the road. Having that success, how do you manage as a coach telling your players when you're going on the road what that is supposed to be, especially in an environment kind of like it was in Miami, as well as it's probably going to be in Charleston Battery with that fan base?
I don't know. We've got a pretty good away record over the last few years as a staff. I don't think we can pinpoint exactly what it is. It's just something that we've been good at. We're not scared. It's become a thing, but I think a couple of dynamics play into it. One is we've got a group of players that like playing in hostile environments. It's something we challenge the group with. Of, you want to be a pro footballer, you want to go to where fan bases are singing your name or getting on top of you. That's the theatre that young boys should want to play in. And then if they're going to go up levels and play in the championship, play in the MLS one day, then that's what you're striving for. So embrace that side. And then I think the second component part that we know for sure that is good is we're not the biggest budget team in the world, but our owners and our front office do a really nice job in little details when we travel to make sure that the boys are well fed, to make sure the rest is there, to make sure the activation coach does a nice job pre-game, the travel, all those wee things go in. So our group rarely goes away from home and feels frustrated about something external from the field. What's within our control, our organisation does a really good job to take care of. So then the guys are left to go and perform. And I think those two component parts we can certainly say are pillars of our success on the road.
Absolutely. I mean, I feel like too, it's so interesting because a lot of teams and organizations, sometimes they don't do the best on the road, or maybe they don't like it. But I feel like having that group of people that just, they love the energy of going on the road, kind of almost like you're like wanting to go in and make a statement when you're away on the road. And you guys have done that. I mean, one win and only one loss away from home. That's a testament. I think that's great. Even in the Open Cup, that's not even including your Open Cup record either. I think that's a testament to what you guys have done at Tormenta in setting that dynamic and who you guys are as a club. You guys are a club that is going to battle it out, and you guys are going to be hard, and you're going to be tough, and you're going to be resilient, and you guys prove it every single time you're on the field.
Yeah, I certainly hope so. You those words that you just used, you'd hate. The worst thing would be is somebody was saying to me, "Your team are not tough. Your team are not resilient. Your team don't have fight." I can't think of anything worse. I mean, that's the platform. That's the bedrock. We've got staff members on our team who, after I speak about this tactic or that tactic or this play or that play, their message always to the boys is win your battles and fight, because that's what life is. That's what sport is. It's the foundation. In the absence of that, everything else is immaterial. So I think we've got staff and an organisation who get that. We want, if I'm a fan at home watching my team play away from home, I don't want to see a team that's not up for the fight, that gets intimidated by the opponent's environment. This is not something that sits well with us. So we're proud of those dynamics. We're happy to hear somebody like yourself see those characteristics about our group, and long may it continue.
Absolutely. And I do want to move in, it's a weird shift. You play an Open Cup match on Wednesday, and then you guys are immediately moving and shifting ahead to Greenville Triumph this weekend. It's a little bit of a heated rivalry close in that area. How do you switch in your mindset from moving on from a game like that match in the Open Cup to then moving on to go ahead and play against the Triumph?
I'm not saying this turns into a win, but very easily. You win this, what's next, right? It's the same as games. It's, do you want to sit and train all week, or do you want to just go and play another team? And the nice thing with it, Greenville Triumph are, not only are they a very, very good organisation in our league, someone who's always been in about finals or the playoffs, they're the local rival, and we've had some great battles. And then they're revamped. I'll be honest, I hope they don't play very well on Sunday, but I've loved watching them and the games, analysing them. I think Rick's doing a brilliant job. I like the players they have. I like the way they press. They've got some really cool component parts, but I also feel like our team's got some really cool component parts, and they've been allowed to do what they do so far against a lot of the teams, allowed the press to be really dynamic and bear fruit for them. Our job is to change that dynamic, and we've got back in this morning the guys who could train. Their full focus is on the tactics for Greenville. The guys that are still in recovery mode, they are playing a part in training, getting ready. So everybody's minds were hopefully concentrated this morning. We got one more session to get everybody up to speed, and then I think Sunday's going to be a hell of a battle, and it's going to be a kind of clash of the Titans in the league, and hopefully we come out on top.
Absolutely. I know that I'm going to be having it tuned in on my phone. We'll be at Atlanta United 2 doing those matches, but I'm going to have that one set up a little bit on the side. That way we'll keep up and we'll keep watching and make sure and see what's going on.
Well, hopefully we distract a lot. Hopefully it's a really good game that you can't take your eyes off. That's the plan.
I think it will be, for sure. You guys are both very strong and very different teams, and I'm excited to see what you guys are able to do on Sunday. It's going to be a lot of fun. But moving on, I want to talk a little bit more about your team in general. You guys added a lot of new players and a lot of new talent coming into this season. How do you feel like all of these new components with the new players, some of the returners, have been gelling together as the season's been going on for you guys?
Well, I think our returners have done a nice job in terms of embracing the new group, not comparing the new group to other groups, not bringing up history, just, okay, these are my new teammates. This is our new dynamic. Let's find a new face. Let's move forward. So I think big credit to the returning guys. We've got new staff members. We've got new players. That's taken us a wee bit of adjustment, but that's what our club is. We're not. We market ourselves as a platform club. We market ourselves as someone that brings a talent like Akali Mukwele to our organisation, allows them to thrive, allows them to have a platform, and then hopefully watch them go on and do bigger and better things in other leagues, and we get a lot of reward from that. But the flip side is we'll have high turnover. The flip side is we're going to have to reimagine ourselves, redevelop ourselves year in, year out. We're not going to be a team like Greenville who have the nucleus of their team return year upon year. That's just not our model. There's no right or wrong way. It just doesn't suit our environment, our organisation. So we want to be young, vibrant, with a lot of new faces. That brings over the challenges, but that's the staff's job and the organisation's job to adapt and hit the ground running as quickly as possible. So, we had a wee bit of a slow start, I felt, in pre-season and the first couple of games. But then it feels like we've turned the corner a wee bit. But a team like Greenville are really going to test that. So we'll see on Sunday how far along we are in our journey.
Absolutely. And my last question for you, Coach, is just about this progress that you guys have been making. What still needs to be done in order to get the message and to get that done for you and your staff, what you want to present to everyone else outside in Tormenta? What still needs to be tweaked a little bit in order for you guys to get over this and move on and continue in the rest of the season?
I'll be honest, we've got a long list. We sat as a staff and we've had a good last 2 weeks. A lot of goals, stronger defensive performances, but we've got a big running list, and we've almost got not enough time to make the little tweaks that we want to make. With some of them, we're going to have to be patient and then keep on adding as the year goes on. But we just got to make sure that line that's trending keeps on going that way. And we might oscillate up and down it, but we've got to make sure that we stay on the rise all the way through the season. We get better and better and better as time goes on. Still think there's maybe 4 or 5 players in the squad who haven't featured massively yet, but in the middle and back end of the season will have big parts. So it's about their patience, their attitude and training to keep on pushing from the bottom. And because I do think our starting lineup could morph over the season. So that's an exciting component part, but how do we get them there? And then structurally, how do we get a bit cleaner in possession and a bit of a clear identity against the ball? There's lots to be working on. We're not the finished product, but if you can win as many games as you can as you're working in the progress, that's the key with a kind of young new group. We knew we wouldn't be a seasoned veteran team at the start, but can we have enough victories so there's enough proof of concept so the group understands what the staff want and build upon? So we're in an okay spot. We'd like to be in a better spot, but an okay spot. But as long as we keep on trending upwards, we'll be happy.
Absolutely. Well, Coach Cameron, I just want to say thank you so much again for taking the time to talk to me and reminiscing on that crazy, chaotic Open Cup match you guys had on Wednesday. I'm glad you've recovered. And we're looking forward to see you guys do on Sunday against the Triumph. It's going to be a fun match, and I wish you all the luck.
Well, brilliant. Thanks for the support. Thanks for the platform for our club. We appreciate it.